Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is February 4th, 2018. My name's Eric Peters, and joining me today, Mr. Dan Curtis.
What? Hello?
Dan.
What?
Take it down about 600 notches because Mike...
Oh, right, yeah.
Mike Tyson has a colossal hangover today. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Very well, thank you, Mike. How are you?
Keep it
Not this again!
See, that just proved my point. That Mike is the type of person that when he's hungover doesn't need quiet. He needs more noise.
Do I?
I think
Does
you
that
do.
prove your point?
It does,
I don't think there's
because
any point
you didn't
proving
come
that.
in. You didn't come in really quiet and soft. We were trying to make it a warm, welcoming atmosphere for you. You could have embraced it. We could have done the whole show in just a quiet whisper.
Yeah, because we're usually so good already, so let's just ruin it another step. That's
Yeah.
a really good idea, Eric.
The Whisper Podcast.
Oh God, could you imagine people that came in for the first time on that show? Fuck, everybody's whispering.
This week we will be talking about cheese and pottery.
Dan, you crested above a negative 30 dB there.
Oh my god. So sorry.
This is quite nice, actually.
Put another tally on the too loud talking chart.
Holy shit, it's got Mike's name everywhere.
This is quite nice, actually. Yeah, maybe we should do this.
It's just that chart. It's just a picture of Mike.
We could do it all like NPR, just really soft, melancholic tones.
Are you still pissing yourself on the way up the stairs? Get a stair lift.
What if you piss on the stair lift when you're going up?
It could be built in with a toilet. You can shit and piss on your way up the stairs.
Go
Ding,
for a
ding,
ride.
ding.
will you?
Proper Bollocks is open for business. Thank you very much.
Baby, pooping through.
Hazel's coming down the stairs.
I was so sick of pissing myself before I got up the stairs. Thank God for the proper Bollocks toilet and stair lift in one.
Oh, not finished yet. Gonna have to go back up.
Can you imagine if that was the only toilet in the house and it's just up and down and up and down? And Hazel's like, God damn it, Mike, get off the stairs. We're 3 minutes in and it's already stupid.
You wouldn't be able to stand, would you? Using that. You'd have to
No.
be a
That's
sitter.
where you get the optional standing attachment.
just winches out and takes you away from it.
But that's where physics comes into play because you'll have to lead the toilet with your stream.
You'd have to have something that clamps over your feet to keep you standing up while you're going up and down the stairs, wiping your ass.
Do you think it'd need a seatbelt?
Possibly.
I mean,
Strap
for
it in.
OSHA standards, if this is in an office building, absolutely, you're gonna need a 5-point harness and a helmet. Some sort of roll cage.
A new toilet-based debate. Do you put your seatbelt on or not?
Just putting my pooping hat on.
Oh,
Can
man,
make a limited edition factory sealed one which comes with quotes as it goes up and down.
Every time a stool touches the water. What?
You pull the last piece of toilet paper off. And another roll.
When you flush it, get it!
As soon as you sit down, gay guys.
Jeeves, wipe my bum for me.
Oh, God, I hope the listeners have got their bingo cards out today. They're on to a winner.
I just spat water all over myself. Was laughing so much.
Not a lick of thing to do with video games. In case this is your first show,
Yes, we do talk about them eventually. We promise.
but we have to get all of our built-up dumb out of the way, and we have to actually offload twice as much because we're going to be off for a show.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
You guys are going down to the Crystal Maze.
Manchester.
Is that on the 18th?
It's the 18th, yes.
So that's 2 weeks from today.
I believe we're going down on the 18th. I think the Crystal Maze on the 19th, or is it the other way around?
19th is a Monday.
Yes, it'll be the 17th we go down then.
Oh. Well, I'll meet you there.
Great. We thought you might. It'd be £36, please, to be on the team.
No. I'll just stand outside and wait.
Oh, you'd be missing out.
I know.
So you have no idea what the Crystal Maze is, right?
Nope.
It's like staple 90s kid childhood, that program.
I have no idea what it is.
I wonder if there's like an American equivalent. Hang on.
Is it...
It's basically, right, there's 4 zones, and teams go in, and then they do all these different games to win crystals, so there'll be different challenges and things. And then they have to, at the end, go in a big dome and collect loads of tokens. And it's very fun.
Doesn't strike a bell.
It's basically like an immersive kind of game show.
Oh, you know what I forgot?
You're an idiot?
Tom's not here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where he is.
Paris.
Yeah. Oh, he's in bed.
Tom Wonderman going,
He's in his...
yeah, guys.
Le gay.
Gonjour, guys.
Arriva
Speak to the
Gerche.
French people. Arriva Gerche.
Arriva Gerche. That one didn't work, did it?
No.
No. Niga how?
What?
Ni hao, but Niga how.
Yeah, Dan, that sounds insanely racist.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I do apologise.
God.
That was not intentional.
Eric, you might actually have to do some editing this week.
Nah. Can't be bothered.
Fair enough. That was not intentional. I do apologise.
Apology potentially accepted.
Thanks.
You're welcome. How's everybody doing?
Oh, Mike's dying.
Besides Mike.
Yeah,
Well, I've not vomited yet, so...
I think that'd be a first for the show. Mid-show vomit. We've had mid-show crap. We've had mid-show 20 minutes of silence. We've had mid-show pee.
Who the hell went for a crap in the middle of the show?
I think I did.
What?
I think you did, actually. That was when we had 20 minutes of silence.
It was on a show with Nick Stevens. I'd sent him a message like, I gotta go now. And then just forgot to edit out the dead space.
Standard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's a good episode, that one.
It is. Right up there with Toronto Batman.
And
There has been a time
Boy
when
3.
And what?
There has
3?
been a time when we each went for a wee, and then you left that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just got to keep people on their toes with the quality of the show.
Sometimes it's a very long show, and sometimes you just gotta go.
Just gotta go.
I mean, if we had the stair lifts to solve the problem, because we could just sit on them and go up and down the stairs during the show and just go when you need to go, really.
Yeah, but then you'd hear that...
Not if you get the new electric silent brushless motor.
Silent running. And, so I'm thinking it's going to be like a modular system where you can add extra attachments, so you can put your microphone on and your laptop. And
How are we back to the mobile stair shitter?
Toilet Labo.
Oh, Nintendo's breaking into a new market here. But I think
it's only a matter of time before somebody invents the toilet.
I feel like a cardboard toilet would be a very singular use. That's how they get your money.
Oh, I've shit in the toilet again. Gonna have to make a new one.
You gotta prep at least 6 hours prior to your crap because you gotta build your toilet.
You have to put the Joy-Con into one of in the handle to pull it to flush it.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
How do we get here?
We just show up.
Nintendo Lavo!
Nintendo Lavo.
Damn, you spit my coffee.
It's all right. It just came to me.
Mike is so pleased with himself. Oh man.
Oh come on! Like I need it. That
was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah.
So where is Yomus this week?
He's in Paris. We just covered that.
Did we?
Nobody listens to each other, do they?
Yeah, Mike's like he's in Gay Paris.
Oh yes, of course.
When
the
we
whole
went
game,
on,
yeah.
And then we were, changing words so that they had G's in them.
And then you
were
said
racist.
potentially the most offensive thing on the show next to "I am no longer a Jess."
Mike, even though you're severely hungover, you don't sound worse than when Jess was dead. So,
hello, I'm Jess. I sound like Scarlett Johansson.
She literally may as well have not bothered being on that show because she hardly said anything.
But she showed up.
She did. She may not have played the game, but she showed up.
Yeah, at least I've showed up today after vomiting twice last night.
We should try to ring Tom in and just have him give us his obligatory greeting.
Hello, gentlemen.
Well, it starts with more of a G and an AY, guys.
Gello gentleman.
Right. Gello gentleman. Soft G's.
Soft cheese?
Yeah, soft G's.
Soft Jeeves.
Jeeves is always soft because that would detract from
Oh, yeah. I was mid-drink and I couldn't get it.
I noticed you're a little late on that one. Jeeves is a eunuch.
Oh, poor guy.
Well, he's got to focus on his work. It's like the servants to the Pharaoh's wife, Cleopatra, or whatever. They were all eunuchs.
Were they?
Well, yeah.
Look at you with your history knowledge.
I just made that up.
Okay. I thought it sounded a bit suspicious.
I don't know. We could Google it.
Nah, it's not a history podcast. It's
easy.
A nonsense and video games podcast.
Egyptian eunuch.
I just played Assassin's Creed Origins and I didn't see any eunuchs.
Here we go. There is a whole page dedicated to eunuchs in pharaonic Egypt. Shall we read, gentlemen?
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
God, this is just a wall of text.
We'll wait. It's fine.
It has a lot of complicated looking footnotes from very, very expensive books. So I'm going to say that my bullshit fact was right.
Well done. You've got something right once this year.
Threw some shit at the wall and something stuck. So what have we been up to these past couple weeks, gentlemen? Anything fun?
I can't even remember.
I know
an interesting life you lead, Dan.
I know exactly what I've been doing, and it is 100% work.
Yeah, you don't seem to have stopped for about 2 weeks.
No, like 2 70-plus hour weeks in a row.
How are you alive?
I'm not sure.
Did you fuel your foot with coffee this morning to get you through the podcast?
I damn near had a hot tea bag fall on my foot the other day and thought this would not have been a good balance.
So you nearly teabagged yourself?
Nearly.
Hey.
Good one, Mike.
It's no Nintendo Lavo, but
it's nearly as good as the Specsavers opticians joke from last show.
The what?
You made a joke about opticians.
I did?
I don't remember.
Yes, you did. And I went, put another tally on the optician joke.
Yeah. I don't remember the joke, but I remember you saying that.
It was pretty bad.
It's the only joke on that chart, in case you're wondering. I think somebody should go back through all of our shows.
No, that's not good for the brain.
And create all of the charts and the tallies. Even the ones that we don't call out.
I nominate Tom.
The guy who's rarely here?
Yes.
Seems like a bad choice.
Or Mike, it could be an exercise for Mike to actually listen to the show.
Nah. I've been listening to some older episodes recently, Dan, and you've been getting some predictions spot on.
I know,
Don't
right?
encourage him.
I am the prophetic Geordie. That is me. I predicted this show.
He's gonna set up a little booth at the corner of Het. Predictions, 2 nickels.
Doubloons, I think you'll find.
He just comes over and he just rubs your temples really, really creepily and stares into your eyes.
There'll be a HD remake of Final Fantasy XII in the near future.
It's like, sir, why do you need to caress people's heads to make video game predictions?
Don't question my methods.
And why am I paying you? Which predictions did he get right, Mike?
I can't remember now. There was that one about the Final Fantasy XII remake.
I think we all knew that was coming.
Was it Twilight Princess the other one? Twilight Princess HD?
Oh no, you said that you think that the next Zelda will end up being on both Wii U and the Switch, like Twilight Princess was on both the Wii U and the GameCube. Yeah?
Woo! Good one, Dan. Proud of you.
Kind of know what I'm talking about.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, that was a bit too far, wasn't it?
It was. Dial it back. Bring it in. Bring it in. Thank you. Thank you. Don't punch above your weight.
Less of the noises.
Yeah. Less of the noise.
Babe!
Babe, coming on through.
Oh man, this is the worst I've felt in ages.
You sound great, though. I'm sure you look like an absolute flaming train wreck, though.
Oh yeah, I look fucking terrible.
Just a hot pile of Mike garbage.
I know Mike's got like crazy long hair most times, but I imagine today it's just like absolutely sticking up in all directions.
I haven't got stupidly long hair. I got a really shitty haircut this week.
Oh, let's see it. Let's see it. No, you have to take a pic. Like, I need shitty haircut hung over Mike.
Off.
No, it's not. It's still fairly long. It's just a really shit cut because my normal hairdresser wasn't in, and I needed a haircut because I thought I was going to have a job interview.
Did you
go? I went somewhere else that someone recommended, and they did just an absolute bullshit job of my hair.
You could have just put a man bun in. You would have been all right.
What, a bit of top knot wanker?
Yep.
Did you post a picture of it on Facebook?
No,
he's too embarrassed.
I've been wearing a hat most of the time, if I'm honest.
I posted a GIF when he put it up on Facebook of Mr. Bean, where Mr. Bean just shaves through the middle of someone's hair. That's what I imagine it to be like.
But yeah, so I've got really shit hair at the moment, so that's a downside.
Oh,
that's all you had.
No personality, no loving nature, just the hair.
You said that so matter of fact.
Poor Mike.
I should be crying.
Hazel's just packing a bag at the moment. That's all you had. I'm going.
I married the hair and you cut it off. Did you at least...
I'm sad for your hair loss, Mike.
Me too.
Don't make it sound like I'm going bald.
That's next.
Nah, I think I'm pretty good. Like, my dad's not receding. His dad didn't recede.
It doesn't come from your dad's side. It comes from your mom's side.
Oh, well, I don't know then.
Is your mom bald?
No.
Didn't we meet her?
Yes.
She didn't look bald then.
I don't know. That shit pops on real quick. Woke up one day, all shit was gone.
Speaking from experience there, Eric.
Yeah, and then it came back.
I know what happened this past 2 weeks, and it's video game related, shockingly.
Oof.
I am 2 power moons away on Mario Odyssey from having them all.
What?
990. You have 997?
No, but the one apart from the ones you buy, but the ones you can actually get in the worlds, I've got all of them apart from 2 because they are like impossible to get.
What have you got to do?
I've got to do the beach volleyball, 100 volleys.
Right.
And I've got to do one in the Mushroom Kingdom where you have to pitch match a Mario, and it's the hardest thing in the world.
No, it's not.
It is when you have to go over 80.
I don't think I've tried either of those.
Dan, I got all of the picture match ones first try.
Well, you're better at it than me because I really struggle.
What? It's the one where they show you the picture and then it starts to fade away, so you can't line anything up.
But did you do the harder versions?
Yeah, where then as soon as you drop your item, that item fades away.
No, on the harder version, the actual picture fades away.
Yeah, I know. So there's there's 2 variations. They show you the picture and then it fades away, and then you grab the items, and when you drop the item stays. The harder version, when you drop the item, like the eyebrow or the eye, that also disappears.
No, that's not true. On the easier version, the picture, they still fade away, but you have more of an outline on the picture to work with. On the harder version, everything fades away.
Yeah. No, I've done them all.
So, well done.
Get good!
I really struggle with that. I get about 69 points, I need 80. But
I had one of them, I got 98. Just stupid dumb luck.
But I have absolutely loved that game, and I think it's fantastic. I'm kind of sad that I've nearly done everything.
I'm at a point, though, where Ellie really wants me to continue to play it, and I just have this deep-seated desire to not play it. I burned out so fast on it.
I loved it. Everybody knows I have a collectathon problem with platformers.
You don't say.
And I really liked it.
I liked the game, but as soon as it came down to, okay, now we're just going to add another 500 moons in here to make you find shit just because, I kind of had a problem with that.
Well, I liked the puzzles and stuff, like you had to find them and things, and they were a bit off the beaten track, so you kind of had to use everything you've learned to find them.
Yeah.
And the ones where you get the art paintings are really hard to find. You seen them ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very difficult. It just shows you a random location. Could be anywhere, and you've got to find it and ground pound.
I've not bothered trying to find any of those yet. I did beat the main story, not last week,
done.
before though. And I just played through getting more moons. But I'm actually enjoying, I was giving it the big one on our Games of the Year show, saying that it wasn't really gripping me. Like, I'm playing it loads now.
That's kind of like Tom with Breath of the Wild. It just didn't hook him initially, did it?
It still hasn't, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it has yet.
Woo!
I have, though, started Ni no Kuni.
Woo! Get it!
Yes! I very nearly bought that this week to replay it.
Why don't you still have it?
I don't know. I must have rented it or something, because I don't actually own... Oh, no, it was when I worked at Game Station, and I got it pre-owned, because you could take the games out, and then I played through it. So I don't actually own it, to my embarrassment.
I've had a hankering to play through and finish it this time, but with Ni no Kuni 2 just around the corner.
It was I bought it on sale back in January on PSN. It was $5.99.
Oh, was it? It's £16 now, so it was a bit above impulse buy.
That's still just that's a killer price for that game, though.
It is. There's a lot of bargains actually on PS3 at the moment, because I've been playing Stranger's Wrath on PS3, and I was looking through the store, and there's like £4 games, like quite good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can't beat it.
I'm only at Alma Moon at the moment.
I can't remember most of it now, but I just remember I loved it.
The desert city.
Oh, you're not far at all.
I'm not far at all. No,
there's still like
I tell you what, the only
5% of the game.
The only concern that I had with that game was it started really, really strong in terms of visuals and voice acting and cutscenes, and those almost completely disappeared about 4 hours in.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't think they do.
The full cinematic cutscenes became less and less, and the full voice acting almost completely disappeared. Like, as you're towards the end of the game, you hardly have any of that stuff.
I don't mind that, because I have a tendency, even when there's voice acting, because the subtitles are usually on RPGs anyway, that I've read the text by the time they finish speaking, so I just skip it.
Yeah.
And
I do that a lot too.
Not do it for those, but when it comes to the...
Persona 5 is a mix of voice acting and text entries, so I'll just read it mostly, because that game has a lot of text.
Yeah. I just meant in terms of the cutscenes and the full motion movies.
Yeah, the Studio Ghibli stuff. Imagine if they did that all the way through, how long it would have taken.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It would, but I don't know if they're doing that for the sequel, are they? I mean, I'm sure it'll look great, but
yeah, I don't know.
They should remaster Ni no Kuni 1 for PS4 before the new one comes out.
Just in the next month and a half. Just real quick, guys, whip it together.
Well, they should have worked on it in advance, really, shouldn't they?
Well, you should have called him 3 years ago.
Yeah, Dan, this is your fault.
I'm predicting it now.
I don't know if Studio Ghibli's involved with Ni no Kuni 2.
Google it!
I don't think they are,
The sequel will not have their own involvement. Yeah.
Aren't they kind of having a freeze at the moment over there and not really doing much?
Apparently Miyazaki came out of retirement to do another film.
Ah.
Okay, so Studio Ghibli is not involved, but the former Ghibli character designer and music composer reprised their roles, both of which worked on Wrath of the White Witch.
So essentially,
Such a
they
good
kind of
game.
are, really. They're
Yeah,
not, but
yeah,
it's
for the
same
music. I mean, the music is what made that game fantastic.
I only realised recently that it was on DS as well.
Yes, in Japan.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Must have been very different.
Yeah. The 3DS is region free, right?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to play a 100-hour RPG in Japanese and not know what the hell I'm doing.
You never know what you're doing.
Good point. Let's buy it.
Is anybody picking up Shadow of the Colossus when it comes out?
I was tempted because it's cheap, but I've got so much I want to play at the moment.
I do as well, but
I really like that game, but I think it's one of those one-and-done type things.
See, I thought that, but then I've seen the remake, and I think it'd be quite nice to play through it with all the H-dizzled up graphics.
yeah, it does look good. But it's a short game, really. It's only 8 hours or so.
Thing is, for me, I only played Shadow of the Colossus for the first time, not last year before, so it's very
It's
recent
only a few
for me.
years ago for me as well.
Yeah.
So I'll probably will eventually get it, but not anytime soon.
Get it?
I'll probably get it
painful.
once I get my 4K TV, because I got my PS4 Pro showing up on Monday.
Woo!
Oh, you didn't get the white one, though, did you?
No. I couldn't
Oh, such a
justify
shame.
an additional $130 just to have it in white.
So how much more it is?
No, so what happened was the white one came out here as a Destiny bundle, and I should have bought it at that time because it basically came with a free copy of Destiny, so it would have washed out to be the same price. So then they decided, we're going to re-release the white console, GameStop exclusive, limited quantity on the 24th of January. Well, I was working and missed it and went to look for them. All of the GameStops in the area completely sold out. So I called a buddy back up in Wisconsin, and he's like, "Yeah, they're pretty common up here." And it would have cost $3.99 plus tax, and then for him to ship it, we're probably looking at $350, $360-ish or $460-ish by the time all's said and done. And then we found a coupon online for Rakuten where they had a black PS4 Pro for $334, no tax and free shipping. I just couldn't justify $130 to have it in white.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
sure
just-
you'll get
so.
over it.
I'll
It's a
buy a
shame
white controller.
because I got the white one because they weren't just as bundles over here, and I got the white one, and it is sexy.
Oh, believe me, I know. I wanted it, but I don't need it.
I like the new V2 DualShocks as well with the sort of grey buttons rather than the black ones.
Yeah, and they've got a
Pretty
little
nice.
light bar along the light bar shows through the top as well, so you can see what
Yes.
color your bar is.
But
Yeah.
you never, ever
Woohoo.
notice.
No.
Ever. I've had one for a long time. Honestly, I've never noticed.
Oh, you have one of the V2 controllers?
I do. I've had it for a long time. Because I have been through 2 PS4 controllers already, and I'm on my 3rd.
How?
The first one,
You choose
the
on 'em.
analog sticks. The analog sticks wore away after playing Ollie Ollie 2 for a long time, and then the triggers broke. The second one, I think the triggers broke
What are you
again.
doing to your controllers?
I'm playing video games.
How aggressively, though?
Incorrectly, by the sounds of it.
Yes.
I've had controllers from when I was 8 that have survived.
I don't know. I've just been unlucky, I guess.
Or you're just too abusive.
I think so.
I think Crystal sabotages them when you're out.
Probably.
I'll teach him. Eventually he'll give this habit up.
She does. She don't mind. She watches the TV. I just get my Switch on, just play a Switch. It's great. I love it.
Good. Good.
I'm a Switch convert. I've still got Xenoblade to play through. I haven't even started.
Now to get you that Pro controller.
No, thank you.
Have you got Mario Kart yet?
No,
I mean, he did say he'd buy it.
it's far too expensive.
Yeah,
far too expensive.
convenient excuse.
Well, what kind of store, right, has a thing on their website for £41 and in-store sells it for £54. What's that about? And because Granger Games is backwards and from the northeast only, they don't have vouchers you can redeem online. I mean, what the hell?
Guys, speaking of older games that are coming out again. February 13th. No, shh. February 13th. If you own a 3DS, you have to pick up Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. You have to.
Or what, Eric?
Or you will be severely lacking in your quality RPG collection. Radiant Historia is one of those DS games that was extremely under the radar. One of our listeners recommended it to me, and I immediately Googled it, and it was wildly expensive, really hard to find, and I found a copy of it on a resale site here that I just met a guy across the city and picked it up from him at a gas station for $35 used.
Oh, that could have been dangerous.
Oh, it could have been. It could have been, but what a phenomenal game.
See, I would mock you usually, but you have kind of a track record of recommending decent RPGs, so I'm not gonna.
But you don't own a 3DS.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, forget the Pro Controller, buy this.
Okay. Rick, don't abandon me on the campaign now.
Okay, forget Mario Kart, buy this.
Right, okay.
Stick to the Pro Controller and buy this.
3DS is redundant now. I've got the Switch.
What?
Yeah.
It's not redundant.
I
You can't
barely
play
use the 3DS.
anything.
I don't know. I just never got away with the 3DS.
Here's the kicker for you. Open up your eShop, download the demo for this game. There's a demo.
No.
Do it now. Do it.
No,
We'll wait. Do it.
Eric, I don't need another RPG right now.
You do.
No, I don't.
You do. You do it. I'll take the wrapper off Persona.
No, it's not worth it. Make a Kingdom Hearts and you got yourself a deal.
Oh, God, no. You, sir, can go sit on it.
I love how you bought that game just to piss me off you haven't opened it.
It was a great $30 investment.
Worth every penny.
Oh, yeah. I was at Black Friday looking through the bin, and it was the only Persona 5, and it actually crossed my mind. I'm like, I need to buy this and just keep it sealed. There's zero intention of playing it.
Oh, you're missing out.
Oh, I'm sure I will, but it'll also probably be free on PS Plus at some point.
Probably.
Like 4 years from now, and then I'll get around to playing it.
Yeah,
That's
as long
the
as
normal
you get
Dan
round
technique,
to
though,
it at some point.
Yeah.
That's your normal technique, though, isn't it, Dan? No, it'll be on PS Plus eventually.
Yeah.
They generally are, and then you feel cheated.
That is
like
true. I
4
bought season
years
1 of
later.
I bought season 1 of Telltale Batman in December, and then it goes on PS
Yeah, but
Plus
some
in January.
games, Eric, you don't have to play right now. For example, I mean, I didn't love the first Deus Ex, and then they released the new one on PS Plus, and I looked at it a few times in the shops. It was really cheap, and I was like, it'll probably come on, and it did. So it's just it's predicting the future once more. You see,
Dan's predictions once again. Nostradamus.
But when you do nothing but spew shit, something's bound to be right. As proved by my Egyptian
don't
eunuch.
make me come over there and rub your temples, son.
Please do. I have a raging headache.
Oh, join the club.
Yeah.
I can only be in one place at once.
You've got 2 hands.
What a lovely image.
Gentlemen, should we talk about some video games that are old?
Yes.
I suppose so.
This
Any
week.
specific ones?
Yes, this week. Our game of the week is Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. Stranger. Gotta get me a video game console.
Gotta get me a stairlift from Factory Seal.
Know where I can take a shit?
I'm not sure if I'm gonna sit or stand.
What is going on with that accent?
I can't do Stranger's voice. It's really hard.
I'm pretty sure if I attempt to, I'm going to vomit, so I'm not
Oh,
going
do
to
it. Do it. Let's hear something.
No.
Come on,
You
Mike.
want to hear me vomit? No.
I mean, we're all about firsts in this show.
No.
Please.
Make me do it. I'll think about it. I'll see how I feel.
Initially released January 25th, 2005 for the Xbox only.
Yes, and I got it.
So
For
did
the
I.
Xbox.
Fun fact, Microsoft did not pay for exclusivity on this.
Really? So Oddworld's devs just kind of lumped in with the Xbox.
Yeah, well, it's published by EA.
Was it really?
There's a big EA logo on the front of the box. Kind of gave it away.
So
So there's kind of a lot of backlash on that too, because I remember when I found out that Munch's Odyssey was Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was gutted because I loved the Oddworld series and I didn't have an Xbox. And if I'm being truthful, the only reason I ever bought an Xbox was for Munch's Odyssey. And
I think it's the same for me, actually.
which is funny because the only reason, well, not the only reason, but the reason I got a PlayStation was for Oddworld. So I got those two consoles sequentially for the same series of games.
So you're an Oddworld fan, in other words.
A little bit, just a smidge. But there's a lot of fallout.
Let me tell you all about Oddworld.
It'd be better if it was named Mega Man.
And starred Mega Man.
Had robots and didn't have any of this strange, goofy shit. So there was a lot of backlash over this game being Xbox only. And despite critical success, the game was actually a failure. It only sold 600,000 copies. And
Yeah, they need to sell about 1.5 million to break even, I think they said.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I mean, the game won a ton of awards, too. You know, best character design, achievement in animation, best graphics, cinematics.
It is quite an impressive piece of gaming, actually. It is.
Yeah.
When you look at it as a whole, it kind of, in a way, reminds me of Dark Souls because it has a kind of interconnected world.
Oh, yeah, the
Which
level
is-
design is brilliant. And you don't realize it until you're done with the boss and it loops you back out to the beginning because it doesn't make you feel like, oh, I'm heading towards this little section of the game, and then everything's just kind of seamless.
Yeah, and I was genuinely impressed this time around by how good that was for the time.
Yeah.
Because there's some loading screens when you go to a new area, but other than that, it's all seamless.
Yeah, it's a pretty good technical achievement for this. At least for the era.
It looks really good as well, actually.
Well, remember, we were playing the HD remake.
We were, but I can still remember it looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at screenshots now of the original versus the HD because I've only ever seen the HD version. And
So-
it still looked pretty good.
The concept of the game is you play as a character named Stranger who is a bounty hunter in pursuit of collecting moolah to procure a life-saving surgery from some doctor.
The Doc.
You know where I can
There's the voice. He's going to bomb.
the doctor.
Oh, let me tell you where you can find the doctor.
Oh! Let me tell you where I can find the doctor.
That's why I found the clackers so annoying. They were secretly voiced by Eric.
Yeah. Ow!
Ow!
Oh, howdy, stranger!
What are you going to do that for, you stinky turd?
Oh, God. Before we get into the obnoxiousness of the NPCs, the core of the game is a drastic shift for the Oddworld series. The original two games, Odyssey and Exodus, were 2D side-scrolling puzzle platformers. Munch's Odyssey switched into the same style of game, but in 3D, because everything was moving to 3D with the new consoles. But
Either of you, well, you've played Munch, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
You said you bought a
Yeah,
console.
me too.
It was any good. I never got around
Munch's
to playing
Odyssey is fantastic.
Yeah, I love it too.
Because it keeps the Madokans, and you still have Abe and all of your companions from the previous two games. But Stranger's Wrath, at a time when the series was kind of on rocks, I mean, Munch's Odyssey was great, but it was still kind of a stark departure from the norm. They're like, yeah, we're just going to do something completely different. And they made a first-person shooter / third-person action game where the core gaming element is live ammo. So instead of just having a gun with bullets, you pick up different woodland creatures and load them into your gun, and each one has different effects. Like you can shoot spiders and they wrap people up, and then you can absorb them for their bounty, or you can lay traps with these things called fuzzles that as an enemy walks near, they'll attack them. Hornets that act like a machine gun, things like that. So that's the core concept of the game, where if you're running out of ammo, you can go hunt for more.
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah, definitely.
I've always been impressed with the live ammo and how the creatures, the very Oddworld kind of creatures, and kind of a spin on normal creatures. Like you'll get a skunk, which doesn't quite look like a skunk, and things like that. And then you just get these really interesting ammo combinations, and you can have two in your crossbow at once. So you can zap people with the zap fly, which you have like infinite ammo for, and that knocks them out. Or you can kill them with like these ones that explode. And the game kind of rewards people more if you actually bounty people alive rather than dead. So at least in the first half of the game, you have to be kind of tactical with how you shoot people and things like that.
Well, and it creates a little bit of strategy as well, where you can, if you want to just go through guns blazing and kill everybody and approach it that way, you certainly can. It's a lot more difficult because as you take damage, you lose health, but you have a stamina bar that you can recycle into health. So if you go into hiding and press triangle, he pounds on his chest and knocks all these bullets off of him, and his health goes back up, but then his stamina bar comes down, and you have to wait for stamina to regenerate. So there's no health packs or anything like that you need to pick up, but you do have to be a little bit more strategic in that. So you can lay traps for people. You can get these chipmunks that will make a sound, and they'll draw enemies towards them, and then you can fire the spiders in there to wrap them up. And there's a lot of different ways to approach each encounter.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Go ahead, Mike.
It's great because you get the impression when you first start it, you almost get the impression that it's going to be one of those typical PlayStation 2, original Xbox era 3D platformers. You know, like
the Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper.
Yeah, it's like I got the impression it was going to be like that when I first started it, and I was pleasantly surprised when all these new features, because they introduce more of the ammo types as you go along. They don't give you them all straight away, and as you're learning them, and yeah, like Eric said, it's very strategic in the way that you do it. I did still find this game quite difficult at points, though.
Oh yeah, I died
tricky.
A lot.
You kind of have to duck behind things, and then either get your health back, or just strategically isolate enemies and kind of pick them off one by one.
The level design is really interesting in that it gives you the ability to kite enemies around certain objects. So especially boss fights, they just will put a giant structure somewhere, and you can use it to circle around and kind of keep them out of or keep out of their line of sight, and kind of attack them and then run away and regenerate your health.
It was and this was all with the aim of getting the moolah, which you can then use to buy upgrades for Stranger in the different stores. Because you go to different towns as you go through, and each one has a store which gets new items after every bounty you take back. But if you've bountied them alive, you get more money. So chances are you probably have more money than you ever need if you do. Because I don't know about you two, but I bountied most people alive throughout this.
Yeah.
I started off doing it, and then I got sick of trying to be tactical.
I never ever at any
kept
point
killing 'em.
hit the 20,000 moolah for the surgery.
No, apparently there is an achievement on the HD remaster for having 20,000 when you get on the barge to go to the doctor's office. So it is possible.
I never did. I never bought ammo either.
No, never.
Because you'll find stuff laying around. You'll find boxes. They do a good job of giving you enough ammo before you go into a major encounter.
Yeah. I completely forgot what I was about to say. No, I never bought ammo either. But I did find, even though I was killing most guys rather than catching them alive, I always had far too much money. So that was another reason why I stopped trying to catch people alive as well, because I was always fine.
Yeah, and I never spent any because
this is a complete spoiler, by the way. But if you do collect loads of moolah, there is absolutely no point in the second half because it all goes. You don't ever need it again.
Yeah.
Ever.
which is really interesting because I think this game's old enough where I don't know. In order for us to have a conversation about the second half of the game, we need to reveal the major spoiler.
If you don't want to listen, just don't listen, I guess.
So the first part of the game, as we mentioned, was you going from town to town as a bounty hunter, collecting bounties to save up money to get a surgery.
That's basically the gameplay loop for a good few hours.
Oh, probably 6-ish, 8-ish hours.
You get a bounty from the local bounty store. You go and collect that bounty in a different location. You bag the enemy. You bring them back. They go to jail. You get your money. You repeat, kind of.
And then once you've got all the bounties, you go to the next town. And it's
Yes.
got the whole game has this really cool Wild West American settler feel to it, which I was reading an interview with Lorne Lanning, the designer. And Mike, I think you have some pretty strong opinions about the chicken people.
We had quite a long time to play this because obviously we were going to do the Metal Gear Solid 2 show early. And then the David Hayter show, obviously it ended up quite long, so we put off Metal Gear Solid 2. So we had ages to play this game. And for the first few
remember
weeks...
when that guy was on?
Yeah.
He was cool. He was cool, wasn't he? Remember him?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He should get into voice acting.
Yeah, when I first started playing this, I found them so annoying that I almost said to you guys, I'm not going to carry on playing because it was pissing me off that much.
The NPC character design is great, but the voiceover is very poorly done in the fact
I think
that
it's just one guy who voices them all.
yeah, even the women, they all sound the same. But Mike, what was it for you that killed you about it?
Oh!
It wasn't just the chickens, it was the guys you fight as well. Obviously, they all have the exact same voice, and when you're mid-fight, they all just repeat what they're saying over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
And
you'll hit
early games.
You'll hit something. You'll hit a spot where if you're just hanging out there, you're trying to get up a puzzle, and there's people standing around. There's like, I shouldn't have had that fuzzle pie, and then 2 seconds later, I shouldn't have had that fuzzle pie, and just repeat that.
Then 2 seconds later, nothing here.
But yeah, it almost killed it for me. I was a bit strange with this game, or a bit stranger.
Or even stranger.
I had moments of this game where I absolutely loved it, and then other times I booted it up. I don't know if it was just the mood I was in at the time, but there were points when I was playing this and I really wasn't enjoying it.
Grumpy
And
bastard.
I agree.
When I first started, I wasn't too keen on it, and just all of the bad guys and all the NPCs, it honestly just made me not want to play it because I was like, well, I'm not enjoying this anyway, and it's really pissing me off. That said, I did have periods where I did really enjoy it. There's the thing I think that made me... The parts where I really enjoyed it was where Stranger felt quite powerful, because like I said, you do die quite a lot. And there's points where he just doesn't... Considering he's like this major bounty hunter and he's supposed to be really good at what he does, he feels very weak because you end up dying so much. And then there's points where...
I think the balance is unfair at times, Mike.
Yeah.
I think that's what part of the problem is.
Yeah, and then there's
So-
times when you're ripping through bad guys and you feel like a badass, and those are the points where I really enjoyed it. I can't remember which part it was in
Those
between.
are typically the parts where they have a ton of explosive barrels and you have to do jack shit to kill 90 people.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But there was one bit, I can't remember where it was in the game, but you had to go through quite a few sort of caves and tunnels, and around every corner was bad guys, and you was going through there, and I was just taking them out as I went through. I was like, actually, this feels really good, and I have really enjoyed those parts.
It was good pacing.
Yeah.
But back to the chicken people. I wanted to know what the thought process behind these people was. So I was reading an interview with Lorne Lanning, and basically those people came about because he stumbled across a postcard one day with a really pissed off looking bald eagle on it. And that look on that bird's face was so condescending, and it had just stuck with him. So he took that postcard to back to the producers and just said, "Hey, this is what these people need to look like." And the whole thought process about it was, this is what our townspeople should feel like, but they need to have the absurdity and the goofball qualities. And it was about the American and Australian settlers not giving a damn at all about anything other than the land that they are conquering. Who they're screwing over.
Those kind of chicken people are kind of revealed later on to kind of be bad guys. They're not nice people.
Well, if you look at Oddworld as a whole, it's very, I don't want to say politically charged, but it's a great narrative.
It's about oppression.
Yeah, and globalization, the effects of globalization and consumerism on the world, and how so many people just turn a blind eye to it. And just, if you're a sheeple, you're just drinking up the information and not thinking for yourself. But these main characters within are the standalones in the crowd. And they're on, you kind of are taking their view from the outside looking in and be like, well, wait a minute, this is really fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of about rebellion against those kind of systems and things like that. So Stranger kind of represents that in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
That got deep for us.
We can take it a step further, because all of this came about. This is in that same interview. All of this came about because Lorne would listen to stories from his grandfather, who was Latvian.
Oh, Lord!
Oh, Lorne, come here. Got a story.
You stinky turd.
Hey, stranger. No, so his grandfather was telling him stories about pre-World War II Latvia, and how one day or one night in the middle of the night, his father was just taken by the secret police and just never seen again.
What?
So he developed this internal hatred of traitors, because there was rumors that it was Latvian traitors that had turned his grandfather's father in, and just kind of became this whole oppression of government hatred. Really interesting interview to read, and how that shaped his view of the world. And you can directly see that in his Oddworld games.
You definitely can.
Yeah.
So I've always thoroughly enjoyed Oddworld. I mean, when I was a kid, I enjoyed it for the farts and the daftness, but I can kind of, as an adult, appreciate it's about a bit more than that, even though it is like a bit daft and things like that.
Like we said, go back. Go ahead.
It does have that political message.
Yeah, go back to Oddworld 1 and 2. It is completely a narrative on consumerism.
Yes, we did. Remember? We played them.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, if you look at that, it's just, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
This is what the people want. We don't give a shit what it's going to cost to get it to them, because it will make us the most profit. Kill these Madakans, turn them into cake.
Or in this case, it's about a really greedy, like octopus creature taking away the water from the people who need it. Because this race of people rely on fishing to survive, and he's built basically a huge dam to sell the water to people.
Yeah. And that is a direct result. His father made a comment to him at one point in the 70s. He's like, future wars are going to be fought over water.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. That's what his father...
You've done your research this week, my friend.
See? I like to read developer interviews. Especially with Oddworld, because there's so much shit that goes into it. It feels like there's a lot more behind the scenes than... You can take it at face value, like, yeah, I'm just shooting some chipmunks at these ugly people.
Yeah, but there's more to it than that, isn't there?
There is. So, halfway through the game, the gameplay takes a colossal left turn.
Like, really? I couldn't remember it taking this amount of a turn.
So going into this, I remember mentioning that this game had one of the best plotline twists in a game that has stuck with me for as long. It's not as good as Link Between Worlds and some of the other stuff, but still, in terms of sheer, oh shit, I didn't see that coming, this game still is right up there. And I'm wondering if that's the same for you guys.
Yeah, I remembered it, but I remember the first time I played it not expecting it at all.
And playing through this time, there is one sequence, there's one cutscene that gives it away. You're like, oh, okay, that's where I could have predicted this.
See, this was my first time playing, and I didn't finish it. but I got to the point that you're on about with the twist.
Uh-huh.
And I think I've said this to you on the show before. In fact, I think it's when you brought up Stranger's Wrath. You were on about that there's a twist. I'm like, well, when there's a twist, it kind of almost ruins the twist for me. And I didn't see it coming, but it didn't feel like a massive, impactful twist to me because I kind of knew a twist was coming.
Sorry.
If that makes sense. No, it's okay. No, it's not your fault.
Spoilers!
Yeah, it's it wasn't because I think because it was bigged up so much, I was expecting a bit more from it. I'm sure if like it'd been my first time playing it and not knowing, I would have been like, oh my god.
I mean, if you can,
he's got 4 legs instead of 2.
If you can detach yourself from that, though, you could at least appreciate like this is a big twist in the.
Oh yeah, for sure. And admittedly, I got to that point literally 5 minutes before we started recording the show.
So essentially,
I'm feeling like shit. So
what we're getting on about here is towards the middle of the third town. Stranger discovers, okay, there is somebody who is willing to pay 20,000 moolah, the amount he needs for surgery, for the head of these really rare creatures called a steef. So he rings this guy up and says, I know where I can get a steef. And we don't know what a steef is at this point because it's just freshly been introduced. You get a passing introduction to them through these little tadpole-like creatures because you come across their village and there's this little quick blurb about how these people came in and killed their steef and they have this giant statue memorializing the steef. But anyway, Stranger sets off to go find this guy and try to get this $20,000 out of him because he knows where he can get a steef. And the steef just kind of holds this magical allure, and you can tell everybody in the world is like, oh my god, the steefs are these incredible creatures. And you end up getting captured by these people. They set an ambush for you because instead of them selling you or giving you the money for the steef head, they're just going to make you tell them and then keep the money for themselves. As you're strung up, this pamphlet falls out of your pants that has $20,000 written on it, or 20,000 moolah, and the bad guy's flipping through it and he sees all these surgical notes about a steef and how to remove the back legs of a steef. And he tells, in what I think is one of the funniest lines, he looks at his cronies, he's like, get those pants off.
Yeah, that was so funny. I like that a lot.
So they cut Stranger's pants off to reveal that he, in fact, is the steef, which is this weird-looking creature that it's kind of like a centaur with a little tiny midget goat body, like the 4 little midget goat legs.
It's like if a centaur had sex with Mr. Tumnus.
Yes. And had Popeye arms.
Yeah.
That's the twist.
It's also, I don't know if you noticed as well, though, it's actually Sector, who's the bad guy, who is about the moolah bounty, actually has Stranger's horns on his wall.
He has Stranger's horns or just another Steef's horns?
No, he has Stranger's horns, because Stranger does not have horns, so surely they're Stranger's horns.
Don't you think... Oh, well...
It's never alluded to, but I think it's probably true.
Because Secto has a bunch of other Steef heads mounted on his office wall.
Because it seems like Stranger knows who Secto is in the first phone call he has with him, because he gets really angry during the phone call.
I didn't put that together. Good job, Dan!
Thanks. Can I get a gold star?
No! We only have shit-colored stars.
That'll do.
You can have one of those.
Gots to get me a shit-colored star. Know where I can find a star?
Is that you, Debbie?
Thanks for picking up on that.
It's a nice performance. We'll have Nemesis as Stranger. Just comes in with his rocket launcher.
Stars. Got to get that awkward pause in the middle, and he only knows one word. So gameplay-wise, the first half of the game is all collecting bounties. Second half of the game, purely first-person shooter.
Yeah, it's crazy how I never realised until this playthrough how much it changes. It's basically you get all upgraded ammo types, so everything you've had until this point is like mediocre, and then you can literally just shoot people to death.
Yeah, because you get the thud slugs get upgraded, the fuzzles get upgraded.
The Hornets get upgraded into a rapid fire machine gun, and my god, they are devastating.
I thought it was really clever game design in what they did with the collecting bounties, because initially you'd kill somebody and collect their body for money. Well, now you collect their body and it becomes food for your ammunition, and your ammunition replicates in your inventory by collecting bodies.
I did like it, Eric, but at the same time, I was kind of miffed because everything you did in the first half felt totally pointless.
Well, okay, so going back to that same interview again, he actually addressed this specific gameplay choice, and it revolved around the fact that when people change, their behaviors also change. So they did that gameplay-wise strategically where, okay, it's now been revealed that Stranger is a Steve. He is fundamentally changed. He needs to shed his previous behaviors. He is no longer a bounty hunter, so therefore, why should he continue collecting bounties? He's moving forward as a new person, therefore, new gameplay mechanic.
I see that, but I think you lose all your upgrades you bought as well.
No, they give you, when you get all your armor and weapons back, they give you 3 upgrades, and then as you're going through, you just collect more. By the time you're done, you have every weapon upgraded.
Yeah, but your armor upgrades and stuff, I think they take them away.
I never bought any armor upgrades because you get better armor. You
Stamina upgrades as well.
Never saw any of those.
They're in the shops.
Yeah.
I didn't see stamina upgrade. No, I did go into them.
Did you go to the black market store as well?
Mm-mm.
There's a black market store where you can buy upgraded knuckle dusters so your punch is stronger.
Yeah, that's in the third town.
Nope, forgot to do that.
You'll wander past one of the clackers and she goes like, "Oh, I wonder if there's anybody who'd be interested in a black market."
Oh! Want some illegal shit?
That's basically what she says.
I'll tell you the one weapon that I could not get to work. I played this on the Vita, and I think I did myself a little bit of a disservice because, well, it's really cool to have twin joysticks on a mobile console. The Vita joysticks aren't very good. The aiming that I needed it wasn't as precise as I needed. So I think that's why I struggled with this game a little bit. But the one weapon that I just physically couldn't ever get to work was the sniper dart.
Really?
I accidentally went into sniper mode once, couldn't figure out how to get back into it. Went into the settings and it said, tap the back touchscreen when you're in first person mode to enter sniper mode. But whenever I did that, I would punch. And that was the other thing that pissed me off is if you've ever held a Vita, your hands are constantly on the back touchpad. So you had to hold it in such a fashion that was really uncomfortable. And if you're running and trying to shoot things and you bump the back touchpad, he stops whatever he's doing and punches.
See, on the PS3 version, it is you have to press the left analog stick to enter the zoom mode, and then you can shoot the sniper darts.
Yeah, nope, not me.
I didn't find myself using them much though.
There were some spots towards the end when they've got those like the pallet guy or whatever his name is. There's a sniper up above him that you could have picked off, so I had to wait till I had the boom bats.
Yeah, I would use a combination of boom bats and the rapid fire hornets and the riot slugs towards the end because they did the most damage, and I would just kill everyone.
Believe it or not, I used most often the zap flies. Just let them charge up and zap people.
Towards the end?
Yeah, even still. I used the zap flies and then the upgraded spiders. Because the upgraded spiders, when you fire it out, it'll capture up to 3 people, I think. And then what you would do is you'd go up, you'd have time to capture 2 people, and by the time you're done capturing the second one, the third one is getting up, and you spin punch him, and he's knocked out again.
Yeah. What did you think about the section in the boat, Eric?
I hated it. Mainly because I kept touching the back touchpad, and the boat, you couldn't turn the boat when you were doing that. So for a while, I couldn't figure out, like, why can't I move? This boat sucks. It was just drifting around, and like it would occasionally go forward. And then I figured that out. It was okay.
So, Mike, after the bit you got up to, basically, you get the little lizard people. I forget what they're called. These are the kind of guys you're trying to save from this point, and they give you a boat, and you go upriver in the boat, and it has like a little turret on the front.
Right.
And you go up the river, and you kind of have to save their town, which is called Last Legs, I think. And so you have to save their town, and then you have to keep going up the river, and you're going on this quest to go to Sector's Dam, who is the guy who Stranger rang earlier, and basically to stop him and to destroy the dam to free the river and help these people.
Right, okay.
It gets
that does take an interesting turn.
It gets really tough towards the end, too.
It turns from a bounty thing into a complete rebellious war movie kind of feel. And
there's explosive barrels everywhere. You're sinking barges. It's a wild turn.
Because I was thinking, up to the point I got to, that it was starting to get a bit repetitive. I mean, I know all of the boss battles are slightly different, all the bounties that you have to go and get, but in terms of the core mechanics and everything, it was getting very, very repetitive.
It was. I was losing interest. I really had to force myself through that last town. And then...
I'm glad you did, though.
Yeah, I forgot how much I enjoyed the second half of this game. It did get a little difficult, though. I got up to the bit where I was probably 25 minutes from the end.
You are, actually, yeah.
You had to escape from the laboratory or the dam as it's self-destructing, and you're running through just hordes of enemies trying to find the path out, and you barely have enough time to ever stop and regenerate your stamina. And I made it to the last corner. I could see where I needed to go, and that's where I died twice and said, you know what, it's midnight. I gotta go to bed.
That took me 4 goes, and it was really frustrating because, like you say, everybody's shooting at you. Your stamina doesn't regenerate fast when you're running, and you have to run through this section or you won't make it.
And you can't stop to shoot anyone or you will not make it.
No, you can't. The only way to regenerate stamina is to knock down a couple of guys and bounty them quickly, because bountying actually regenerates stamina, which I completely forgot.
A little bit, yeah. But there's no way because it's so populated.
There's only one section I found, and it's when you go past the electric machine. Did you get as far as that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're round the corner and there's 2 guys, and you can just kind of knock them down quickly, bounty them, and then carry on. But there's a section towards the end where you're running across this really long walkway, which looks like a conveyor belt, and the snipers shooting at you, and you just kind of have to run full tilt, keep double jumping to avoid them.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you jump, you can avoid bullets.
And then at the end of that, there's this electric machine, which is just, if you don't have enough health, it will kill you. There's no way to avoid it. And I died like 3 times. And then I had about a minute left on the timer on the 4th try and got up to that and regenerated all my health. I just kept hammering triangle even though I had nothing until it was full. Then just went full tilt up the thing, got there.
It's a really unpleasant part of the game. It's kind of one of those spots that happen in old platformers where they just make it difficult for the sake of making it difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Mike said earlier in the week that he didn't like the way Stranger runs because he felt like he would lose all momentum when you hit into things.
You do, because as you're running, eventually he goes onto all 4 limbs and does kind of like a strange sort of gallop, and you feel like you've got some proper speed. The moment you hit anything, you stop dead.
Yeah, but you can use that to ram into enemies and knock them out.
True, but
at the
or
end
into you can knock into townspeople and rob them of their money.
You stinky turd!
Hey, that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, but the problem with this last section is that when you get in that momentum, it takes Stranger a few seconds to actually get the momentum itself.
And
so
if you're running up any sort of hill,
yeah, he loses it. And if you've lost it, you're probably going to die because you just get shot.
Yeah, it's a rough section.
Exercise and frustration, really.
The sectobots, the little spider-looking things, those things were they weren't hard, but they'd shoot out that green web.
Oh, it was so annoying, man. There's a sub-boss before the last boss, which is fighting 2 of them at once.
Those ones are really easy to beat if you can get them to circle a crate, and then you hit them with a thud slug and then hammer them with about 15 of the hornets before they fire out their green web at you. And then you just keep circling around a crate backwards.
When there's two of them, Eric, right? Because when you get close to them, they attack you by spinning into you.
Yeah.
And on the boss, because they spin into you, and there was two of them, I physically couldn't get up. Like, there was no chance for me to get up. They just hit me about until I died. There was nothing I could do.
Huh.
It just felt like... And then I kind of found a workaround, because when you get hit, you switch into third person. If you immediately click R3 to go back into first person, you can start shooting them. But there's no kind of explanation of this. I just did it by accident, and then managed to kill them.
See, I had to double tap the touchscreen to get into first-person mode. It was not as easy.
No. And the final boss is an absolute pushover.
Really?
Really. Basically, Sector, the big thing, comes up in this machine, and it's got two kind of, I want to say, energy generators on the side. And you'll start out, you're behind a rock, and every so often Sector will shoot this giant laser beam at you, and you've got to make sure you're behind this rock, otherwise it will kill you.
Huh.
And then it destroys the rock, and then the cycle continues. Another rock will appear somewhere, you've got to go behind that, and you've just got to shoot the energy generators until they explode. That's it.
Interesting.
It's literally that simple. And then Stranger defeats Sector, and the dam is freed, and you see all the clackers on their little houses in the river, just complete their towns are flooded, which is very amusing. And it's actually revealed that Sector itself is kind of a parasite, and he's actually on top of another Steve, who, because Stranger has been shooting at him, then dies.
Oh, shit.
So Stranger's then the only Steve left.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah.
Which is another theme with Oddworld, actually, because, well, not with Abe and the Mudokons, but with Munch's Odyssey. He's the only Gabbard left.
That was such a sad
Gabbard.
Story.
It was, actually, yeah. I think it's one we're going to have to play, and Mike will enjoy.
Munch's Odyssey is so good.
I'd be down for that.
It's a really fun little game. No, we haven't. Not yet. Speaking of the boss battles, what were your least favorite ones?
Pack Rat Palooka.
Which one's that?
The one where he's on top of the platform and he has the shield, and you've got to destroy the 4 glowing orbs to get his shield down and then fight from there. But I was being an absolute fucktard with that first. So I didn't realise after the first time you get a shield down and you hit him, these 2 massive turrets appear at both sides of the platform. And they were just taking me out every single time. I didn't even realise they'd activated, and I didn't realise you could destroy them.
It's not obvious, to be fair. I'll let you off on that one.
Yeah, but first 6 or 7 goes, I was just being obliterated by them.
I hated the boss where he was like a robot and he had an exposed back.
Oh, see, that wasn't that hard.
Did you just kill him, though, or did you bounty him?
I got to the point where I was just killing the bosses.
See, I was trying to bounty them all, so...
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Well, I think my game crashed a little bit during that, because there was one point, because you're on top of the platforms. You go onto the platforms, then he goes over to the button to
knocks you down.
To knock you down, basically, yeah. And that's when you can hit his back. But there was like one point where I was on top of one of the platforms, and he was kind of underneath me, but not quite. And his walking animation was going, but he wasn't moving anywhere. And he just kept repeating his lines. So I managed to get loads of shots into his back for a few moments before he unstuck himself.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
I don't remember the boss it was, but I think it was... maybe it was Fatty McBoom Boom, the guy where he's just has these endless waves of enemies that come out that you have to fight before you can even engage him. And there's a sniper up top, and he's the guy who does the giant body slam towards you.
Yeah, that is Fatty McBoom Boom.
That one probably took me 15 tries. Until I realized that there is a boom bat nest. So where the thud slugs are flying around, there's this little alcove.
Yeah, there is.
There's a little alcove outside that you can go back and regenerate stamina and collect some ammo. And you can faintly see a boom bat fly through the action. And if you shoot it down, it'll give you 2, so you can come back and collect up to 12. Once I realized that, it got a lot easier, but you still had to fight tons of enemies before you could even take him on.
I kind of got him into a corner, and the enemies weren't coming over, so I kind of just completely shot him to death with boom bats, and riot slugs. Well, no, I knocked him out, sorry, and bountied him, but yeah, that's how I did it in the end. Took me about 3 tries, though.
I just upgraded my fuzzles, and I'm so glad I did, because the fuzzles were so useful, those waves of enemies.
I upgraded my fuzzles.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't like the minecart one, where the guy's riding around in the minecart, and you have to get him to come down by shooting the little track switches, and then he comes down a level, and then a whole nother wave of enemies comes out. You kill them while he's also shooting missiles at you.
That was hard, but I actually quite enjoyed it.
I quite like that one. Yeah.
The boss battles were all really varied in their presentation, so I liked that.
I didn't like the one where you had to go up an elevator and go across the electrified wire.
Oh,
yeah, just to
Joe
get to
Mama,
that,
isn't it?
Just to get to that elevator was a pain in the ass.
Yes, it was.
What I ended up doing was I shot it from a distance so it would come down, and then I would time it so that it was just about to go back up, and I'd run towards it and jump up onto it. Otherwise, those 2 giant enemies would come up with you and just destroy you.
I think that's the first time they're introduced as well, isn't it? Those spiky guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I struggled with stealth on this. I think you kind of get seen when you shouldn't be getting seen a lot of the time.
I don't think you can go through a purely stealth play.
No.
I just don't think it's possible. Obviously,
Which
you
is
can't
funny,
with
'cause
the
they
boss
give you-
battles.
They give you that radar that's a bit like Metal Gear,
Yeah.
where you can see the cones of their vision.
Where what?
You can see their vision, their cone of vision.
Gives you the cones of vision on the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Nostalgia let me down a little bit on this one. The first half of the game was not nearly as fun as I remember it, but the second half was a ton of fun.
I liked it overall, I'd have to say. Yeah. Good stuff.
I toed and froed with it, but I'd recommend playing it. There's plenty of enjoyment to be had with it.
At least to
Mike,
experience.
I'd try and persevere and try and do the second half and just see what you think.
Just play a little bit of it at least.
I just want to keep playing Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, let the sick man do his thing.
Okay.
I'd say at least play it just to experience the live ammo mechanic. It's so cool. Like, they really touted that when they were advertising this game. I remember those.
It's really interesting as well, the whole first person, third person dynamic. Because some of the images I've seen of it makes it look like it's just a first person shooter. But obviously you can flick between the 2 views, and you could almost play it completely in first person if you wanted to. I mean, you'd be doing yourself a disservice.
I rarely played in third person unless I was trying to gallop somewhere quickly. Otherwise, I was always in first person.
Oh, no, I flicked out of it loads, because obviously you can get a better view of your surroundings, so if you're mid-battle, quickly click out of it, have a little look round. Little mooch.
Mike, you put out the Facebook post for some questions on this. It was a little late, but...
Yeah, I got out really late.
Zach Foley put some good thoughts on there. Let's see... I'm interested in your opinion here. Having played the first 2 games and then playing Munch and this, did you see the need for the Inhabitants team to make the leap to 3D platformer from what was ostensibly in Another World blueprint or Flashback, Heart of Darkness, etc.? Did it being anything other than a Me Too vibe to a game that didn't really need it? I think we talked about it a little bit. I think it was... Oddworld's always been about pushing the boundaries and inventing something new in a new and unique way. And I like the take that they did on this.
I thought their 3D games were fine. I mean, this could have just easily been another platformer. But
honestly, though, when Munch came out, maybe I'm alone in this, I felt a little upset that it wasn't another 2D side-scroller just with better graphics like they had done with New and Tasty.
I just remember New and Shiny. I was too young.
Yeah.
But they've kind of gone back to that New and Tasty thing. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Oddworld Soulstorm, which is coming out. We haven't heard anything about for a while.
Well, and that kind of parlay is... Go ahead, Mike.
Is that Abe's Exodus?
Well, it's meant to be... I think it's kind of a reimagining of Abe's Exodus.
Right, okay.
That kind of parlays into Brendan Connolly's question, though, of how badly... Yeah, there it is. How badly would everyone love to see a return of this series? Would it even be worth trying again, or would it not match up with modern-day tastes?
I think New and Tasty proves that it can keep up with modern-day tastes. To match
New
up
and Tasty
with
was great.
I mean, granted, they altered the gameplay a little bit. It's a little more fast-paced, but at the core of it, it was the same game.
Yeah, right down to the jump and everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
I'd like to see
I'd argue that it's better than the original.
Yeah, it's definitely more playable. I would like to see them stick to those roots. I don't like it when they take a series that shouldn't be in 3D and force it into 3D. Because that's what made the game fantastic. That's how it was designed. That was the core mechanics of the game, was 2D side scrolling. And Munch was great. This was okay, but it really excelled in 2D. Look what happened to Mega Man when they took him 3D. It just went down the shitter.
Let me tell you about Mega Man. No, but the thing is, the whole
Sorry.
The whole world of
Someone did that
Oddworld.
on purpose.
It's proved that you can have two very different stories because they've created this world where they could essentially, if they've got a new kind of game they want to do, they can create all these brand new characters, these new races, these new creatures, and new places to be. And it can be a completely different game, and they can still keep the 2D stuff. So they can keep I haven't played Munch, but they can keep Abe's story, and that's a 2D puzzle platformer. But then you've also got Stranger's Wrath, which is this completely different game. They have the ideas there to be able to keep making different games under that same Oddworld umbrella.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good point. I like that.
See, there was originally with Oddworld, there was meant to be 5 games.
The quintology. And
yes,
technically, Abe's Exodus it's not part of the quintology.
Neither is Stranger's Wrath.
So they've made 2 of 5.
Yep.
Yep.
Going strong,
doing
fellas.
well.
In 21 years, you've made 2 of your quintology.
I think there was another one. What was it called? It got leaked.
Oh, shit, yeah. Hold on, I got to Google it now. I know what you're talking about. Squeak's Odyssey, that's what it was.
Squeaks, yes.
First I've heard of this one.
Unreleased Oh, look at all these unreleased titles. Oddworld, Oddworld, The Hand of Odd, a real-time strategy game.
Oh.
Sligstorm followed the story of an albino slig who was born in a complex that must escape to avoid infanticide.
Sligs are the guards in Abe, aren't they?
Abe, yeah.
There. Guys.
Would have been included with Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus in a combined package. There was another one which was meant to follow Stranger's Wrath called The Brutal Ballad of Fangus Clot.
Yep.
Wow. And it was cancelled because they had disagreements with the publishers.
Oh. This is one of those development companies, though, that is so good. They have such a focus on exactly the message that they're trying to drive and the type of games they want to deliver. And it's so frustrating that in this day and age, these people can't get funded to make the games that they want to make. Instead, we get a bunch of shit thrown at us from everywhere.
Oh my god, there was meant to be Munch's Exodus.
Now you're just making me sad.
Oh.
Oh, so New and Tasty is essentially seen as a reboot in the quintology.
Yeah, so Soulstorm is kind of a full remake of Abe's Exodus, but we'll probably elaborate on it like kind of New and Tasty did.
Yeah, it's basically starting the quintology. It's a reboot of the entire thing. So I'd like to see them moving forward actually finish their quintology.
As would I.
So that's a long answer
wouldn't.
to Brendan Connolly's question. Yes, we would.
Nicely brought back, Eric. Well done.
Apologies for putting that post out so late.
This is probably...
It's all right. You were basically dead. We'll let you off.
This is probably one of my favorite series, just in terms of novelty and creativity.
It's one that I have very fond memories of. And I, as an adult, appreciate them in a different way than I did as a child. And, I mean, I still like the fart jokes, but, you know...
Yeah, where you could, in Abe's Exodus, you could put a bunch of Madokins by a cliff and fart and they'd fall off.
Yeah. I remember my first experiences of Oddworld was actually on... I don't know if you would have got the same demo in America, Eric, but Dan, do you remember with the original PlayStation, we got Demo 1, which had like Abe's Odyssey, Disney's Hercules... Wipeout, yeah. And I played the demo of Abe's Odyssey on that so many times.
It's me too, and then I finally got it, and it was amazing. It's amazing thinking back to those times when you were a kid and you would religiously play a demo disc over and over again, just hoping one day that you'll finally get this game.
I can't tell you how many times I watched the Final Fantasy VIII intro video on the PlayStation Magazine demo disc.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm like, I can't wait for this.
I used to play Disney's Hercules all the time.
Of course,
We should play that for the show.
It was a great game.
Can't say as though I have ever tried it.
You're missing out. It's kind of like, you know how the Disney games for SNES and Genesis were kind of really good. It's kind of that last gasp kind of Disney game.
Speaking of games we should play for the show, gentlemen, what is next?
Segway!
I think that's 3 segues this week.
Well done.
Tear another notebook paper out. We need another segue, John. Bitch!
What do you mean we've ran out of paper?
Mark it on your body.
I don't care if you're dead. Do it anyway.
So, like we mentioned before, we have a show off. We will not have a show on the 18th, so the next one will be March 4th. We should tackle something big. Because we have a month.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ever not thinking about penises?
No.
When he's thinking about toes, maybe.
Oh, Speaking of toes, oh god,
party.
Guys, yesterday. So Friday. Christy comes home from work. I'm out in the backyard.
Do we want to know this story?
Yes,
really?
you do. Yes, you do. I'm out in the backyard with the kids, and she comes out and she's like, "Oh, hi!" Comes up to give me a hug, and she's wearing open-toed shoes. I still have my shoes on, and I walk up and misplace my foot and tear one of her toenails off.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well done.
Not my proudest moment.
I bet she's happy with you today.
She's a champ. She's pretty good. Except next weekend we're going on a big trip up into the mountains to go hiking, and then we've got a fancy dinner coming up, so she's going to have just this big old gross toe hanging around.
So she's not going to have a toenail now?
I don't know. It didn't it lifted completely off the bed.
Oh, can you stop?
And then
stop? Like the two things that I'm like squeamish about is nails being ripped off and teeth being pulled out. It's the only two things that gross me out. And just stop.
Eric, you got any teeth pulling stories, mate?
I kicked her in the teeth once. No, I didn't. Actually, no, I don't. My grandpa tied the string around the wrong tooth once when I was a kid and pulled the wrong tooth out.
I thought people only did that in cartoons.
No, I had a loose tooth, and my grandpa's one of those goofy guys.
Did he attach it to a door as well?
Yes, he did.
Granddad runs towards the door, and a little smoke trail comes out behind him and everything.
Yeah, that's one of the family jokes. My grandpa insists to this day that he still pulled the right tooth. Like, no, Grandpa, clearly you didn't, because then we had to pull the other tooth after that. Fortunately, it was still a baby tooth that was in there and ready to come out anyway, but... yeah.
Oh, that sounds painful, man.
Thanks, Gramps. How did I get to toes? Oh, Dan aroused by toes, me breaking toenail off. There we go.
Yeah, we got
the system works.
Yeah, it all comes back into focus.
I am not really aroused by toes. I'm not having this. This is weird.
I mean, you started it for yourself by commenting on...
I know. You engage with the community, you get shit. That's what
Well, yeah, you don't need to be turned on by the community's toes.
I wasn't.
You were! You're like, ooh,
I
look
was
at them
just calling
toes.
out the fact that he had his toes in the picture.
That's not what you said, though.
Yeah.
You said nice toes.
Yeah, see? Can't argue with that.
The internet takes things out of context.
No, I think you commenting on another dude's toes speaks for itself.
Damn, you caught me.
Oh, hey, before we decide on that, guys, guess what game just came out that I completely missed that I'd talked about a ton?
Barbie
Is it
Supermodel
tennis?
2.
It's not tennis.
There is. Have you seen? There's a game on the Switch eShop just called Tennis.
I bet it sounds
Wow,
shit.
good effort.
I spotted it the other day.
Their marketing guys are on fire.
It's like on the NES when they like, oh, we got this game about golf. What should we call it? I don't know, golf. Publish it.
Publish it!
Okay, what's the next one? This game's about hockey. What are we gonna call it? I don't call it hockey. Publish it.
This one's about penises fighting each other. What should we call that?
Penis fighting. Publish it.
That's a reference to genital jousting, by the way, guys.
A game from my childhood that I have been dying for a revival just came out called Mutant Football League. Obviously cannot be called Mutant League Football because of prior rights, but it's essentially the exact same game, and it is getting stellar reviews.
Is this going to be a Carmageddon again?
Yeah, except it's not going to suck. There is zero chance this game
I have
is
no
gonna
idea
suck.
what you just said.
I
to me.
say
It's
I
me.
heard you be more excited when you heard about Carmageddon.
I mean, I did get pretty excited.
You did.
I
We
was-
talked about for about half an hour.
If you don't know what Mutant League Football is, it is the only stomachable football game. And I'm not talking soccer. I'm talking actual, real American man football. Except you're playing as mutants, and you're on these football fields that have landmines and giant sandworms that'll come up and eat you, and you can hit people hard enough that they explode. You can bribe the refs. It's a fantastic game. I'm going to go buy it.
Buy it!
Get it?
Buy it. Keep it sealed. Don't put...
No. See, there's no physical
Sniff
physical release yet. So there's a physical release coming this summer. So I will buy it this summer and keep that sealed. But I will buy the digital copy today.
Download it!
Buy it. Download it.
Download,
Leave
don't
it in
install.
You
So,
would
yeah.
as well, wouldn't you?
Oh man, I need this game in and around my life. All parts of it. You guys should buy it too, and we can play together.
Yeah, Dan needs to get Mario Kart first.
Dan, don't get Mario Kart. Get Radiant Historia and this, and that'll be the same price.
Jeeves, fetch me the piles of money.
Jeeves, fire up the money printer. Okay, back to what are we playing next? We have had some people request, mainly me, that we revisit Illusion of Gaia. And that whole creation of heaven and earth quintology?
Gaia, guys!
Gaia!
Ugh.
Is it the Gaia of Illusion?
No, it's the Gaia of Illusion! This fabric is getting too interwoven here. This show just keeps folding over itself. Like one giant onion. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? We did Illusion of Gaia back on episode 5 with me and Aaron and Jess. And Aaron didn't play it, and Jess and I didn't finish it.
Is this easily accessible?
Yeah, it's on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
And it's only 13 hours-ish long.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know what it is, Mike, were you on the show when we did Soul Blazer?
No.
Soul Blazer.
It's part of that same trilogy. Or, actually, no, there's 4 games. It's Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, and Grand Stream Saga. The last one, the last 2, I don't think ever made it to North American shores. It plays the exact same as Soul Blazer, but this is more of a fleshed out actual RPG. So it's the same action combat, but you're working your way on this grand trek across the world. You play as a kid named Will, whose father it was this grand explorer and died at the Tower of Babel. And you go on a quest to see if you can find your father or his legacy, and along the way you meet these really interesting characters, and it's a really neat game. If you guys want to revisit that, I'd be willing to play that again, because we have 4 weeks to do so.
No!
One of the most memorable games from my childhood, so that sticks out pretty heavily for me. I mean, it's up to you guys. I don't care what we play, but we've had some people asking us to revisit that, as well as Terranigma, and we already did Soul Blazer.
I'm easy.
Yeah, you are.
Aye, if you want, Eric, yeah.
I mean, do you guys have any other suggestions? We put Dan into think mode.
Think mood.
Give me about 5 minutes. I should be back.
Let me do a quick check for the emails. If you want to send us an email, it's what is it? Factory
If you don't know, they aren't going to know.
Yeah. FactorySealed@manatank.com. We do not have any at this moment because most people are just showing up on Facebook.com/group/Factory Sealed Podcast. Throwing their questions in there for us. We'll address those every show. If you do like what we are doing, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Factory Sealed, where you will get, for any amount of donation, a very special program called Factory Sealed Unwrapped, which is the 10, 15, sometimes an hour-ish prior to the show of us just talking shit, getting ready for the show. So it's basically another mini show before the show that only you get access to by donating to our cause.
Hooray!
Yay!
We've done Chrono Trigger, right?
No. Wait.
Huh?
Yeah, we did. It was with me and Kevin and Derek. So we didn't do Chrono Trigger.
I'm just trying to think if there's any other RPGs we haven't really tackled.
We haven't done any of the Lufia games.
We ain't done Final Fantasy VI.
Well, Kevin and I did, but we were really drunk when we did it.
That doesn't count.
Also, just at some point, I'd like to do Final Fantasy IX this year. Not now, but at some point, because that's obviously like a several show stretch, isn't it?
You don't get to pick games, shut up.
I'd say we could do Lufia, but that game is 26 to 30 hours. Final Fantasy IX's just a cool 42 hours.
If you don't get it at the Chocobo side quest.
We do need to do that game, though, at some point. I agree.
I've never finished 9, so I'm looking forward to doing it.
What? Okay, so in terms of something big, though, we have to do... Then it has to be some sort of RPG or action-adventure game.
I'm fine with Illusion of Gaia, Eric. I don't mind.
I think you'll really enjoy it. I really do. Dan, have you played it?
No, never.
Ooh! Play it?
Yeah, let's go for that.
Okay. Done and done.
I'll see if it's loaded onto the pie.
Oh, man, there's a quote in there where they're talking about eating grandma's pie.
Delightful.
It's a snail pie, and it's got a very pungent smell to it. Grandpa comes down, he's like, yeah, I had more of grandma's pie last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys will like it. Let's go with that. It's only, I'd say, give yourself 15 hours to beat it.
Okey
Gentlemen, have
dokey.
we missed anything?
Did I? I don't think so.
We announced that Tom is gone.
Well, he's not gone.
We actually talked about a video game.
We covered Stranger's Wrath.
I
Mike-
managed not to vomit.
That's actually a low point of the show. There you go. Just pull the trigger right now, Mike. Let's get that.
Just lube up the fingers. Get him down the throat.